Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another exciting session of the RTI University. Today is a very special event that we have got planned because it is not only the month of November, or Movember as we know it, but we've got really a fantastic special panel of guys and an expert in Tom Christian who's going to take us through a number of things. We are honored and privileged today to have our international president, Mr. Mark Hermeshausen from Austria, who will share some inspirational words for us. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mr. University Manager, my dear friend Graham. It's a really privilege and honor that we have actually this session. And yeah, as you can see, I also participating in Movember. Let's call it like my little blonde hair are looking a bit frustrating compared to when I'm checking how Tom is actually looking like I'm on the stage already on day 18th during Movember. And I actually really proud of Roundtable and what we are all showing right now this month, because we are really bringing man health in the front and on the stage, and we are here to discuss certain points, and we would like to show you what is actually Movember and why are we participating and what are we doing it for, because I'm getting many requests, hey Mark, why are you looking so stupid during this month? But I think that this is actually something where we can really be proud of, and I'm really, really happy that we have with our community service officer, Pierre Mörk, a wonderful guy who is actually participating already for years in Movember, and he is actually the guy in Sweden to raise money for the Movember Foundation. And I'm very proud to have you in the team to commit to the service. And I'm very, very happy that we actually dedicated several months during this entire year where we are standing united in diversity, and that we are really putting the focus on man health, on mental health. And this is something what we as Roundtable, especially as a young man organization, can be proud of. So thank you very much, Pierre, for setting the focus again on Movember during November. And I'm really proudly hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and for the kind words. You're looking sharp in your so-called mustache. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. My name is Pierre Mörk from Sweden, and I'm the current CSO for Roundtable International and proud member of the organization, and also a contributor to Roundtable International for many years now. And I have luckily I've been able to raise some funds for the organization, as well as setting the focus on both cancer and men's health. And I thought that this would be a fantastic venue for us to discuss these topics and shed light on what Movember is, what they do, and how we can help them and each other, because I think that Movember has so much in common with the Roundtable International. We are an organization for young men, and young men are facing some challenges today. We are losing too many young men too early, and that is tragic. And I was thinking that no better way than to try to include Movember to Roundtable International, and try to discuss what they are doing, how we can help each other, and get some tools also how we can be there for each other as a fellow man and a fellow brother. And I'm so grateful to have a representative from Movember here. I reached out and asked if they were interested in contributing with their knowledge and experience to this stream, and we got Tom. So I'm really grateful for Tom that you're being here today, and I know that you will give us many tools and insight of Movember. So thank you so much for being here, and I will leave over to you, Tom Christian from Movember, and looking forward to your presentation and how we can help each other out.
Well, thanks a lot. I mean, great introduction there. I'm really privileged to speak about Movember, and also on behalf of the foundation. It's a wonderful cause, and I was just thinking the same thing. There's so many parallels between Movember and the Roundtable. It's just a perfect fit, and I'm blessed that you guys are so interested in the topic, that you want to change and make a difference. And yes, so what I will do is, let me just go to my presentation, and then I will share my screen. Hopefully everything will work the way I want it to. All right, let me just go here and put this thing in full mode. So let's go. I thought what we would do, it's a very packed agenda, so I wanted to get right into it. What we're going to be looking at today is what is Movember? I'll go a bit about the foundation itself. Then we're going to look at the three cause areas: prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, and suicide prevention. And then I thought I'd wrap up the presentation with a bit of fundraising 101. What can you guys do to get involved, get active, contribute, and ultimately make a difference? So let's kick this off with a little video here.
A movement is the power of people, inspired by a common passion that is determined for change.
A movement can be sparked by something pretty unlikely. We are Movember.
We grow a moustache or challenge ourselves to get physically active and move for the 30 days of November to raise awareness and funds for men's health.
We were born over a few beers in a bar in Australia.
We are now in over 21 countries, making us the largest men's health movement in the world.
We are Mo Bros, and we are at our strongest when we stay true to who we are. Real men, talking about real issues.
We're a global community standing together, welcoming each and every Mobro and Mo-Sister as a friend and fellow change agent.
We sign up at Movember.com in October and raise funds in Movember for prostate cancer, testicular cancer, for mental health, and physical inactivity.
The moustache is our hairy ribbon, our badge of honor. It starts conversations about men's health. The Move Challenge puts our vision of having an everlasting impact on the face of men's health into action. This Movember, grow a moustache, challenge yourself to move and support those who do.
Together we can change the face of men's health.
All right. So that gives a nice little overview about what Movember is about. It started, as many great things do, with two friends going for beers at a bar. And then as they were having drinks, the topic of 70s fashion came up. And they thought about, well, what's gone out of style that hasn't come back yet, and why? And they had a few more beers, had a few more laughs, and then it dawned on them. The mustache, right? And then they basically challenged themselves. Let's grow a mustache for the month of November. Ultimately, what they ended up doing then is rallying another 28 fellow friends of theirs to do the same, to grow a mustache. And in the end of the month of November, they throw themselves a party, as you do, and they gave awards out for the best looking mustache and the worst one there. So really, they didn't start, or they didn't have an idea of, we're actually going to go change the world right now, and the power of the mustache. That came later, because what they realized during the month was they were getting stopped by family, by friends. Why are you growing this? What are you doing? And so they realized they were onto something big. They realized that they had a powerful vehicle to spark conversations, to spark change, to do something. And obviously, they were annoying their girlfriends and their wives as well. So that's not a bad thing either. So then they realized, what can we use the mustache? Could the mustache be for men's health what the pink ribbon is for women's health? And so this is how Movember came to be. It got attached to a cause. Prostate cancer was the first one, and then through increased funding, they were able to attach two more cause areas to the foundation. And so here we go. So what is Movember? As I had mentioned, Movember is the leading charity for changing the face of global men's health on a global scale, focusing on those three cause areas. And the vision is basically to have an everlasting impact on the face of men's health, because there are some statistics, that's a tricky one. And I will be repeating these through the presentation because these are the ones I want you to remember. From 2030, we'll reduce the number of men dying prematurely by 25%. And from 30 original mustaches, we have now 5 million mustaches, 5 million supporters of Movember globally. And we couldn't have done it without you guys, your support already, and we can't do it without you guys in the future either. So So why Movember? Because men die 6 years earlier than women. This is based on gender. These are good indicators of health. And usually these are things that are preventable, because men, based on traditional views of masculinity, they're taught we need to be tough, we need to be silent, we can't talk about our emotions, we can't talk about feelings, we can't ask for help when things get tough. And so this is basically, here you see some statistics. There's 10 million men living with prostate cancer and beyond in the world today. Testicular cancer is the most common cancer among young men. And mental health and suicide, 3 out of 4 suicides, sadly, are men. So I'm going to talk about the cause areas now. I'm going to start the first one. Prostate cancer, as we said, it's a sizable issue. It's a sizable issue for men, just as breast cancer has been is for women, but it's been historically completely underfunded, undershadowed, or overshadowed, excuse me. And the problem is this: 23.3% of new cases in the EU member states are prostate cancer. And as you saw previously, 9.9 million men are living with this disease. And what we need is basically better diagnostics tools, better tests to determine what treatments work for what men, and better understanding, better knowledge, better resources that you can make informed decisions, and you have a community to lead on for this disease. So what can you do? Basically, early detection is key. Early detection is key. At 50, you should definitely talk to your doctor about it. At 45, if you have family history of the disease, or if you're of African and Caribbean descent, if you can detect the disease early, you have a 98% chance of survival. Catching it late, however, that number drops to just 26%. Okay, let's talk about testicular cancer. It's the most common cancer among young men in the world today. Globally, 66,000 men are diagnosed with testicular cancer every year. And it's unusual for some reasons, because over the last 50 years, rates have doubled. Okay, it's on the rise. And there are statistics that say that 83% of men are not aware that it's a young man's disease, that they are the group that is most at risk. And the research also showed that 44% of men don't know how to perform a testicular self-examination. And I will actually get into that one a bit later in the presentation. So by the end of this, you guys will know what to do. And I also wanted to point out that, self-checking is the key to survival. Obviously, if you have a family history with testicular cancer, then you are 4 times as likely to be diagnosed with the disease. If you have a brother who has testicular cancer, you are 8 times as likely to be diagnosed with the disease. So again, early detection, that's the key. Checking regularly, knowing your family history, all of those things. You can prevent this disease. You can, if you are diagnosed with it, you can live it, you can beat it. And the last cause area is mental health and suicide prevention. This one is a topic that's often kept in the shadows. There's a lot of misunderstanding with mental health. And this is something that, we're taught about sexual health, we're talked about physical health, we're not really spoken to about mental health, right? And what is mental health? Mental health is basically your mood, how you're feeling, how you deal with external pressures, such as your job, such as family, such as other work-related things or other private things. And so as those elements in your life change, so will your mood. And it's Movember's ambition to have all men feeling mentally healthy, taking appropriate action during tough times, and having the resources and the community behind them to get the help that they need. What is the problem here? As I said, you've seen it before, 3 out of 4 suicides are men. And for every one suicide that occurs, there are 20 attempts. And why is this so? Because often we again, these traditional notions of you need to struggle, you need to tough it out, you can't talk about it. And so here, what Movember tries to do is, especially for this age group, 15 to 29, because suicide is the leading cause of death for this age group. For example, in the UK, in the US, it's number 2. In Germany, it's in the top 5 as well. So it's a significant and serious issue. Movember tries to bring this topic out of the shadows and give people tools to recognize when people are in distress, recognize when people are going through tough times, and give them the support that they need. One thing you can do, and I'll come back to this later on as well, is Alex. Ask the right questions. Listen without judgment or distraction. Encourage action. And check in regularly. So now I'd like to show another little clip, if I may, of the Movember programs. This is a little bit of a summary about all the programs we do. We have 1,250 programs active worldwide right now. This will give you a nice little overview, and then I will jump into a few and go into a little more detail. Oops. Let's see here. I've already got it open. 1 second. All right.
Hi. You know, it got to a point where I kind of shut the world out. I didn't talk to anybody.
It's prostate cancer that's gone all over my skeleton.
And there's too many of us dying. So enough of it.
All I thought was, to be a man, you had to be strong, you had to be macho.
You need to be a leader in both your voice and your actions.
Boxing reaches some of the communities which are hard to reach. It's about supporting each other through tough times.
1, 2, double jab. Movember is not just a bike shop, but a place of healing for men.
I feel like the change can come through these programs, and I've seen it change lives.
Things that I could only dream about 5 years ago, even 5 years ago, are now reality in my clinic.
This isn't just going to advance my own work, it's going to advance the work of a number of projects here, and that's ultimately going to lead to the advancement of a number of possible new treatments.
I see this as our standard, and I could not go back, and I would not go back to an old-fashioned clinic-based follow-up for well people.
Ask the right questions. So what are the right questions?
I didn't have to check them. I didn't have to ring the doctor. I didn't have to ring you. It was all there.
You know those guys are keeping an eye on you.
Being exposed to research is really what saved my life.
The COVID crisis has taken but it's coming.
What matters is what we do today.
I stand tall. I stand tall. Today.
I stand tall. I stand tall. For my people. For my people.
When you live your life for something that's bigger than you, you'll always be a success.
1, 2, 3, let's go! Best version of us. Best version of us. For my brother. For my brother. For my brother. For my brother.
Wow, I always get chills with that one. So let me just go back to the presentation now. So the first one I'd like to talk about is the mental health and suicide prevention. Sorry, let me just squeeze this down there so I can see what I'm doing. All right. First one I'd like to talk about, we saw it in the video. What are the right questions? What questions can you ask for? Well, Movember, in response, developed a digital toolkit that teaches you how to start and guide a conversation with somebody going through a rough time. And actually, the link is here to the web page. And basically, what this tool does, it invites you to practice how you'd respond to certain questions and to someone who may be struggling with whatever is going on in their life. Basically, it'll teach you to ask the questions that matter, to help someone open up and reveal what they're feeling, and also to be a better listener. And here again, ALEC, that acronym, that can help you also start those conversations. So I urge you guys, go check out the webpage and start practicing. Then we have another one called the Social Connections Challenge. And basically it was, it's launched as a response to COVID-19. It's an initiative that seeks creative ideas to strengthen social connections among men. Because what we've seen, the research was showing us that 1 in 3 men said they felt lonelier after COVID than they did, or during COVID than before. And they found that 84% of men said it helped them to open up, to talk about their issues. Yet 45% of those men that were surveyed said nobody checked in on them. Nobody asked them how they were doing. They want to reach out, they want to connect, but there's a gap. And this is another reason why the Social Connections Challenge, why it exists, because it aims to break down that stigma. It aims to bridge that gap. And how does it do it? They're focusing on programs that are scalable, that are easy to implement, technology-based ideas such as online meetups, content through the apps, as well as social gatherings. Then we have one of my personal favorites is the Family Man. It's the world's first free online parenting program designed for dads, because this again, statistics show that ultimately 3 out of 4 men will become fathers in their lifetime, and that almost 50% of them say that they feel anxious about being a good dad. And raising a human, I can speak from my own personal experience. It's a lot of responsibility. It takes a mental and physical toll. So the Family Dad website exists. It's free. It's easy to use. It's a research-based, fun, and engaging way that speaks to dads all over the world. And funny, yet only 20% of those participating in these programs are dads. So while it speaks to a specific group, there's so many more folks, that can benefit from a program such as Family Man. Then here we have a program aimed at veterans and first responders. So far, it's received almost 4 million euros in funding, and it's an initiative that improves the mental well-being of veterans first responders, and their families. And why does it exist? Because this group of people, the firefighters, the police, the paramedics, the emergency and medical personnel, they experience a disproportionate higher rate of poor mental health and suicide compared to the general population. And the program, what it seeks to do, it seeks to normalize and encourage self-help seeking behavior and giving these folks knowledge and tools that they can to get help they need, as well as a community that they can lean and rely on when the going gets tough. And we have another one in that space of social connections. It's the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. It's an initiative launched to support ideas that could improve, again, social connectedness, life satisfaction, and mental well-being of men that ride motorcycles. And this program, again, I've seen it in Germany, I've heard it in Sweden, it's in the UK, it's in Australia, it's in the US and Canada as well. And why does it exist? Because inherently, riding a motorcycle is very isolating. It's something you do alone. You're on your bike. But through a program such as the DRG, you again connect with a group of folks that are like-minded, that might be going through the same thing. You have a tool there for you. You have a resource, a knowledge-based resource available to you, and you have a community that you can lean on. And there's programs that receive up to $1 million in funding all over Europe and North America. And we do this through online forums, social events, and also workshops. So again, I encourage you all, go onto the Movember website, check out all these programs so far, because they really are a treasure trove of information. Okay, I'd like to move on now to prostate cancer, if I can. And I would like to highlight one program in particular. This is called The True North. It's an innovative, information-rich website transforming how men living with and beyond prostate cancer, how they receive care, make informed decisions, and manage symptoms to improve their overall quality of life. And what I like personally about this one, everything that we try to do that is web-based can be accessed by your phone. So you have your phone, most of us, like myself, have their phone on them all the time. This is at your fingertips. It's in your pocket. It's a library. Go and use it. Okay. And again, for the millions of men living or beyond prostate cancer, their quality of life is severely impacted by this disease, because they go from living a normal life, whatever that may be, 1 minute, to being told, hey, by the way, you have cancer. And that's a kick in the gut, you know what I mean? And so now it's like, well, what do we do? First your world crumbles and breaks down, and then you get over that part, then you seek treatment. But what treatment, and what experiences can you lean on? Do you know people that have gone through this? Well, this is what True North does. It connects you to all of this stuff. And then testicular cancer, I'd like to highlight a few programs, if I may. So testicular cancer is the #1 cancer among young males of the attempt, and treatment can lead to long-term side effects that impact the quality of life. And Movember's focus is on getting guys back to living their life fully. We invest in 5 key areas: biomedical research, clinical quality, healthcare services, care, and education. Basically, what this means is biomedical research, connecting the global research community across the border to diagnose, to treat, and to cure cancer. For the clinical, it's improving treatments and side effects. For healthcare services, advocating healthcare services for men and improving care for those men once they seek treatment or choose not to seek treatment. That can also be a case. And also improving the education, connecting them with people that have gone through this and see what works for them and what could work for you, in a personal case if you are diagnosed with this disease. We also, the Movember Foundation is also doing incredible things with DNA, because we realize the DNA has a huge role to play in the risk of developing testicular cancer. And through the work that Movember does, this funded research, they've identified 35 of these genetic variants, 35 different markers to predetermine whether or not you're at risk of developing testicular cancer. And just to give you kind of some perspective, in 2013, there was only 6 variants identified. So we see that, you know, our efforts are working to improve the situation. So we have a program, again, available on the phone. It's called Nuts and Bolts. It's an online resource packed with relevant, straightforward, reliable information about testicular cancer. And we know that if you're diagnosed with testicular cancer and you catch it early, there's a really, really great chance you will survive. You will beat the disease. And so basically here, you know, it's all about equipping you with the tools that you need to improve your life, to manage those consequences of the cancer. And we have another program I wanted to say called Know Thy Nuts. It's one of my favorites. It's our annual testicular campaign, awareness campaign, encouraging guys everywhere to get to know their nuts. And what does this mean? We saw the research. It says 62% of guys in this age bracket, 18 to 34, they don't know how to examine their nuts. And so this program is the megaphone. Go check them out. Go do it. How are your pair hanging? And I will give you guys a bit of a rundown on what to do. So, you know, check your notes regularly. Absolutely. I would make sure you probably don't want to do this at work in a meeting with your boss or whatever, but, you know, go home somewhere private, take a shower. That always helps, because it actually relaxes your pears and your plums for you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to scoop your hand up. You're going to take one of your nuts in your hand. You're going to roll it around in your fingers, and then you let that hang. You do the other one. If at all there's any pain, or something doesn't feel right, or if you feel a lump, or, you know, it doesn't look right, it's hanging in wrong, then I would urge you guys, go get checked. Go speak to your GP. Go speak to your doctor, and you know, and then take it from there. Okay, and now this is the fun part. Fundraising 101. How can you guys get involved? How can you get active? How can you make a difference? Well, it's quite simple, really. 1, grow a mustache. You know, be a walking billboard for the Movember Foundation. Have people come up to you, spark conversations, talk about the different health you know, aspects that the foundation supports, health causes. Move. There is a move challenge, as we had seen in the video. 60 kilometers. 60 kilometers as a minimum through the month of November. This represents 1 man every minute, every hour dying from suicide. Host a moment like this. Get together with your friends, talk about your feelings, do something like a save down in a bar, and then have a party at the end of the month. Go collect funding, ask for fundraising. Or if you don't like any of that, if you don't like the physical activity, you don't want to grow a mole, that's totally up to you. Mow your own way. Do something in the month of November, and then hopefully also beyond. Now, I'll give you a quick checklist here. How to mow. First stop, sign up at Movember.com. Customize your mow space. I think you may have seen mine already. Set a fundraising target. You can also set a personal piece of text that says, why are you involved with Movember? What are you doing it for? If you're at a company somewhere and they have a Movember activity, or they have a Movember page, sign up, get donating, ask for donations. Link your MoSpace to your Facebook, to your Instagram. Everything's linked nowadays. You can post on one, it posts back on the other. get the word out about Movember and all the great things we do. Ask for donations, as I said, get talking, say thank you to the people that donate to the effort. And again, here there's all these great resources to help you. Ask for donations, what kind of text to write, what kind of WhatsApps to put out, these type of things. And ultimately then, once you've grown the mow, finish your mow off in style. And the last one I wanted to talk about is why I mow. This was me last year with my handlebar mustache and the blonde hair. Maybe that's why I look a bit depressed, because the hair was killing me at that point. But it was a great conversation starter. I'm 10 years a mow bro. And for me, it started as just a simple excuse. I just wanted to grow a mustache and have a reason to do it. And I could say I'm supporting Movember. At that point, 10 years ago, I wasn't even clued into what the foundation does, what are the health areas that they get involved with. And then I went back and, I started with, hey, I'm doing this for Movember. I asked for 100 Swiss francs, and then I ended up getting 300. So then I put the next thing to 200. I ended up getting 500, and so on and so on. And my goals got more ambitious every single year. And just to tell you, like now I'm at 2,000 Swiss francs. And I started getting a bit competitive as well. I wanted to get into the top 20 of Switzerland in terms of fundraising. And then I wanted to get into the top 15. And then I wanted to break into the top 10. And that's where I kind of consistently I'm in. And so for me, the future goal in that aspect is I want to break into the top 5 and do what it takes to do that. And also do some good while I'm raising funds for the Mo. For me, 10 years, this is my first year doing my physical challenge of 60 kilometers. I thought it would be fitting to mark 10 years. And I'm over halfway there by now. It's been grueling. I do it with a wheelchair, and I do it on surfaces that provide a lot of resistance. So every time I sweat and struggle and I curse myself, I think, hey, I'm moving, I'm doing good. And lastly, and probably most importantly, for my father at 75, thankfully no one in my family has been affected by cancer. But these are the times. I'm 40 myself, so I'm getting close to the ages where I'm supposed to be getting checked up regularly. And I have 2 sons, 10 and 7, and now a 2-week-old daughter as well. They need their dad around. And should I ever have cancers or ill mental health, I know I have a community out there that can help me. I know I have resources out there that I can use to make informed decisions. And I know that this foundation absolutely is doing some of the best work globally. So thank you very much for listening to me. It's been a real pleasure. And I wholeheartedly support what you guys do. It's wonderful to see so many parallels between the Roundtable International and Movember, and just keep going, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Cool.
Tom, absolutely incredible presentation that you did there with some real deep insights. And I mean, some of the statistics in there really is something to think about. One of the things that you mentioned early on, specifically, was with regards to prostate cancer, and that if you actually get it checked out early, you go from a 98% survival chance. And if you wait for it being too late, you actually go down to 20%. And especially now, this is one of the more common cancers out there. How do we actually, or why do you think men wait too long? Is it just a lack of knowledge? Is it something that we don't like doing? And then basically, how regularly should we go, either do the self-testing or have our doctor check us out?
Absolutely. So in my mind, it has more to do with those traditional stigmas and those things about we're men, we're tough, we can't talk, we have to struggle and suffer alone. I think that's the biggest one, and also fear of the answer. The research is there, the help is there, it's available, but to make that step of, I think something's wrong, to let me go talk and let me go check it out online. That takes some courage, and it's a scary one, because you've seen also other sites like, WebMD or things like that, where you type in something common cold and it says you have the Black Death, right? So I think it has something to do with that as well, that the fear of, you don't want to know the answer as well, but ultimately your survival depends on you acting, and so what I would say is, as I say, those are those key dates, 50 and 45. Or if you have, that in your family, then you should absolutely go get checked. Go talk to your GP regularly. I think with, for example, with testicular cancer, that test you can do in the shower. Do it once a week. I mean, I do it regularly. You don't have to do it that regularly, whatever is good for you. But I would say certainly once a month, and open and regular communication is key. It's key. Talk to your doctors if you think there's anything going wrong. Listen to your body. They will tell you a lot what's going on, and sometimes you have to have the courage to step up and do the research and go seek it out, because ultimately, while it's a struggle, and I absolutely admit that, it will give you peace of mind. It will give you peace of mind before it's too late.
Thank you very much, Tom. Mark, I know that you indicated that you have a question as well.
Thank you so much. Tom, once more, thank you so much for the great input and the presentation, because I think that now for our members, it's much clearer than what the Movember Foundation is actually doing. Because also for myself, I was not aware that this actually includes so much. Yeah, and this is actually something what we are very proud of to have you here in our call. In general, how do you see, how can we break the stereotypes? How can we break actually the barrier that people are able to talk about maybe mental health, but also about men's health issues? What would be according to your experience, the best steps actually to go forward in that sense? And before you're maybe answering, I also kindly invite all our members which are listening at the moment to the live stream to actually raise some questions also in the chat. Our public relations officer, Paul Huxemer, is watching it, and he is giving us the questions as well. It would be great to hear many questions also from the floor. Thank you so much, Tom, for your answer.
Absolutely. Well, again, there I would go back to the Movember conversation or the ALEC piece. That can definitely help you start. And I went on, when I first found out about the program, and I went through the scenarios, what questions to ask, how do we do this? How do you recognize the signs if someone is struggling? How do you get them to open up? I also think that what people tend to do is they will try to ask all the questions, and they're already preparing their answers in their head. And certainly Movember conversations, they teach you to be an active listener, to really listen to the person and let them speak. So again, breaking down barriers, those things can help you spark conversations. And ultimately, I say use ALEC. Check in regularly with your friends. And it might seem awkward at first. It was for me, and certainly because my friends are the football loving, beer drinking type. They don't really speak about their feelings, but then ultimately in one of those nights at 11 o'clock in the evening, something comes out, and you just see they want to speak. And so the more that I practice these conversations, the more I can recognize the sign if I think something's off, and then I try to prompt a question, and then listen, and then ultimately, guide them to the resources, for example, that Movember has specifically on mental health. This is one of the big ones that I am focused on myself, because I wholeheartedly agree with the foundation saying, we want every man to be mentally healthy and have the tools that they need to get help when times get tough. So use the resource. That's what it's there for.
Thank you so much for this hint. And because actually now more than a year, we on Roundtable International, we are trying to offer this check-in Tuesdays, and these check-in Tuesdays are really, on each week we are encouraging our members just to check your health, talk to people, and we are here for each other. And I think this is something where we as members can actually already go ahead and be here for each other, because sometimes we are, of course, we are trying to share different kind of encouraging words. We are trying to actually settle the base, but it's really actually easy to do when we are just listening and when we have an open ear for the fellow brothers around the globe.
Absolutely.
And this is something what I'm very happy. And as I said, I'm now the first time also participating in Movember, and I hope I can set my goal, which I set for the fundraising, also a bit higher level, so that I can actually compete with you.
There you go. No, hey, bring it on. I'm happy for it.
But this is something what was really great, because I really see that many members are already participating, and this is something what we can contribute, because it's actually easy to do, and it's just nice to talk with people about the situations. Do we have any other questions, Graham?
I think Pierre might have one.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you once again, Tom. Fantastic presentation. I am, we live in times where we have to dare to open up. We have to dare to ask. We have to dare to help out each other. And I see so many things in common between Roundtable International and Movember. And one of these are that I think that we need organizations like Roundtable and Movember as never before, and our members have to use it better. I think we're too few there, and we need to step up. But I mean, these tools that you're mentioning, I can see that we always have meetings all over the world with our fellow brothers, fellow men, and I hope that the guys out there who's watching this live or afterwards can take something with them to the meetings, dare to open up and dare to ask the questions, and go into Movember. And if you don't have, the sense of clue, how can I start, where can I start, you have given so many tools and so many ways that we can start and open up. And I hope that many of our members will use them in the meetings, because we are a fellowship organization. We do a lot of fun, but we can also be there for each other in tougher times. So thank you so much for the presentation, Tom. And I'm just wondering, because you're mentioning so much, but it's you, and you told your story here today, and I'm a little bit curious. Do you have some favorite program, something special that you think that this is close to my heart, that you would like to highlight a bit more before we leave them out there?
Absolutely. Well, I do love the Know Thy Nuts, because it's so simple and it's great. But actually, my favorite program is one that I didn't mention in the presentation, because there are so many. But it's the Men's Pie Club, or I call it Guys Making Pies. And basically, this is a program that's in the UK, in the north of the UK, in Newcastle. And basically, this is a worker town, Newcastle. These are folks that they're told they need to be tough and masculine and like football and all those things, and not everyone does. And so I think that this program, it's about getting those guys together that don't fit that traditional mold. They can open up. They have a safe space to talk. They learn the skill. They bake a pie, Guinness and steak pie, and at the end of it, they have a great meal. They feel like, hey, I've accomplished something. I went from knowing nothing about baking to learning something new, having a great meal together. And this is another one where you break down barriers, you break down those stereotypes, and you can spark the conversation. And ultimately, that's the hardest thing to do: spark the conversation. And I would also say for your members, how do I get started? The first one, to me, because Movember.com, it has so much resources. It's sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, even though they're wonderful. The Mo space, that's for me the one thing. Sign up, get it together, add your pictures. There's a Mo tracker there. Tell people why you're doing this thing. You know, you log in all your past funding and all those things and your movements and everything. It's like a one-stop shop to kind of your profile. And with that, you can say to people, hey, have you seen Movember? Have you know what they do? Oh, let me show you my Mo space. Oh, look how cool it is. Look at my Mo tracker. These are small things. Spark the conversation. And they go, do you know the cause areas that Movember is active in? Or, you know, oh, I remember how to ask these and these questions. And then you start sparking that conversation, and ultimately that could save somebody's life.
Awesome, Tom.
Thank you.
Right, guys. Tom, firstly from our side, thank you very, very much for all the time that you've taken to actually assist us today. With all of the knowledge that you shared with us. I think it's been very eye-opening for a bunch of people. To everyone following along live on Facebook, at this stage we don't have any questions, but thank you for following along live. Anyone watching this on a repeat and you want to ask a question, please feel free to post a question in the comments, and either ourselves or we will get Tom to actually get back to you, because we believe that this is actually critical for everyone to really get a deep understanding of the content that we're sharing. Just like to hand over to each of you, to Mark, to Pierre, and to Tom, maybe for a last comment or a last thought before we close this up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Graham. I guess today we learned that Movember is not just about facial hair. It's a symbol of solidarity, a reminder that health matters and that we can all make a difference. And the funds raised, the awareness spread, and the stories shared are building the Movember Foundation for a healthier, happier, and future for men worldwide. And I'm glad that Roundtable International is at the moment taking part in it, and that we can really make with the Movember a very good base for men health and awareness of it. And I'm very thankful that we hosted today's session. And thank you very much, Tom, for your input, because it was really thoughtful and teachable. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just blown away. I've been an active Mo bro for many years, and Tom, you gave some insights that even I wasn't aware of. So Movember is doing so much, and everyone can do something, you know. Not everyone can do everything, but everyone can do something. And I'm so humble and happy to have you here, Tom, and I'm just humble and happy to be part of Movember Roundtable International. And we have to also remember that we are doing this for ourselves, but we are also doing this for our sons, because we have to make a statement and have to be the bigger brother and think of the next generation, because we have to be a part of the change that we need to see, and that is you, and that is I, and let's go.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. My final thought is, whatever you do, pick your one thing, stick to it, do it, and be the change agent to change the face of men's health. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for joining another edition of our Roundtable International, or RTI University talk shows. This one focusing on Movember, men's mental health, and testicular health. Gents, we will be back next month, so please keep an eye out on Facebook. And thank you very much, and see you soon.
Take care.